Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Sam Healy.
Today we're looking at one of the first games from Cool Mini or Not that does not have minis.
Hey, false advertising.
No, it's or not.
I know.
Xenoshyft, a very oddly spelled name. Xenoshyft.
FT.
You'll always forget. Anyhow, this is a game, and I think the best way to describe this is many of the climatic scenes from Starship Troopers, the movie.
Yeah, that
where they're sitting there with machine guns and flamethrowers and they're fighting off bugs. You are part of a group of...
wave of bugs.
Right, you're part of a group of Marines fighting off waves of bugs. It's a co-op game completely.
Yep.
Let's take a look. The game takes place over 9 rounds of the game. Now, of course, that's if you survive. What you're doing is you're defending the enemy base here, and there's going to be 9 waves of enemies that are coming at you. Actually, there's 9 rounds. There's only 3 waves of enemies, so that each of the 3 rounds is split into those 3 waves. There's going to be a deck of cards, Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wave 3, and these are going to show different monsters that are going to be attacking your base. Players are going to start with some militia cards. These are your basic guys. They have a 2 attack, and they have 1 health point. And you're also going to be starting with some of these 1 Xenoshyft. I'm just going to call this money from now on because I'm not going to say, or Xeno. But this is essentially is money that you're going to use to buy more cards in your deck. Players are also going to start with a card that's going to show basically what kind of person or what part of the base you control. Like you might control the armory or the barracks or the med bay or the science lab or the command center or weapons research. Each of these gives you a special ability, and by the time you get to wave 3, you will have 3 different special abilities. You also will start with some extra cards in your deck, like for example, if you're weapons research, you'll start with 2 MK2 Spark Jumper Assault Rifles in your deck. And so you can see I got some of these Spark Jumper Assault Rifle cards right here. You get to start with 2 of those. So your deck will be slightly different than everyone else's. Everyone shuffles their deck and the game begins. The first thing you'll do is you will draw up to 6 cards in your hand. You don't have to discard cards between turns, although you can. You can keep some cards from round to round. Then players will all take 1 Xeno card, depending on what wave they're in. This one's worth 1, this one's worth 3, this one's worth 6, and add it directly to their hand. So you're always going to have at least some money, but you'll probably have more than that. And then players will simultaneously spend money to buy things. Now, out here, you can only buy on the first turn Rangers and Militia, and the costs for them, or actually there won't be any Militia probably, but the Rangers cost 2. And you can see down here, during Wave 2, you'll then have Field Medics, Paratroopers, and Stormtroopers, and then the very awesome Ajax Battlesuits, Defenders, and Hyperion Assault Batteries will be available in Wave 3. However, in all the waves, you'll have cards over here. You have some randomizer cards to pick some of these, but also some of these cards will start out if a player has chosen that. So, for example, if I played with the weapons research, there's going to be MK2 Spark Jumper Assault Rifles available for people to buy. Again, the cost is up here. You simply discard those cards, and when you buy a new card, that card goes directly into your hand or into someone else's hand because you can buy a card for somebody else. And so players can work together and buy the right cards that they think that they'll need. Then players are going to take turns or all working at the same time, placing out different people here in line. So let's say I have some militia and I bought myself a ranger and I put my ranger here, and I have this assault rifle. So I put that assault rifle on the militia here, which gives him a bonus of +1 attack. And this is my defense for this round. After everyone has bought their cards and placed their defense, then each player is going to have 4 Wave 1 cards placed here, like this, and 1 player goes first. Now, on this player's turn, you're going to turn over the first Wave 1 card. And it says, the first time this enemy attacks each round, it deals its damage before the troops attack. So then this person is going to fight against this person, and they're going to deal damage simultaneously, except here it's not going to happen simultaneously. So he does 3 damage to the trooper only has 1 hit point, the trooper is dead and goes to your discard pile. You don't lose them, although there are some monsters that have a keyword that says burn, in which case they're gone forever. Then the next guy comes up, and so the monster does 3 damage to him, which kills him, and he does 2 damage to the monster, so they kill each other and come off the board. So then the next guy comes up, the smoker, and it says, when you reveal him, place him at the end of the enemy line. While he's in line, all enemies get +1 power. So he goes to the end, and now the next enemy is going to be +1 power. We flip him over. It's another swarmer. He does damage again before the troop attacks. 4 power he has, hits him, kills the ranger, ranger's dead. The swarmer will now attack the enemy base, and so he will do 3 damage to the enemy base and goes away. The next guy does 3 damage to your base and goes away, and the next guy does 1 damage. Actually, I'm sorry, it's 4, 4, and 1. So because this guy added 1 to each one of these people. So you have to be very careful as you are playing this. If you notice, that was really bad for the humans. You start your base with 15 per player. So you can, if you're playing a 3-player game, you have 45 damage that your base can take, and you only have 9 rounds. And so here I gave up 9 damage to the base by myself on my turn only. That's a really bad thing for the players. So each player is going to do that, and as it goes on, you're going to figure out better ways to set up your troops so that you can take care of these things. Players can also play cards in their hand and play cards to help other people, like eventually have paratroopers that you can play and they'll jump in the line and help out. Or maybe I have a bomb or something that I can play from my hand, or a med pack to keep somebody alive. And so you're trying to help each other by playing cards from your hand on their turn, but if you play all your cards from your hand on someone else's turn, you may not have enough when it's your turn to defend your own line. After all 4 players have defended their line, players can discard cards, and we go to the next one, and the monsters just get bigger and badder as we get to wave 2 and wave 3. And you can see, for example, here, so these are some of the monsters in wave 3. The Death Spur. Okay, look at this guy. He does a 6 attack and 6 defense, and he fights the last troop in line. We have the Hydra. We have the Swarm Callers. And even more importantly than that, in each of the 3 decks, there are 2 boss monsters. You're never sure when they're going to show up, like this guy here, who's the Eater of Hope, which is a terrific name because that is exactly what he does. He burns 1 troop in the lane, destroys them forever, and then he does his damage to the first 2 troops in lane when it attacks. So when the boss shows up, hopefully you can take him out, and there's 2 of those in each deck. You may not get them, the Eater of Hope or the Brood Mother, but depending on how many cards are drawn that round, but at the same time you might. So if players survive and their base survives after 9 rounds, they win the game. Otherwise, they will lose. Okay, was there anything that you did not like about the game? Because I got one. If you notice when I was doing the review, you'll notice that there was a glare on the cards.
Okay.
And that was, these cards, there's some kind of shine on them where it can be hard to read. That mixed with the fonts used on the cards and the smallness of the fonts.
Right.
We constantly have to pick up cards to see what they did. It wasn't necessarily easy to tell what a card did. I knew armor protected and the gun gave bonuses, but I didn't know what else.
Yeah. I think maybe sleeving would fix that problem, but I'm probably where that was first noticed. I was having trouble first time we played the game. I was having trouble reading the cards because of what we thought was where I was sitting in direct relation to where the lights were in the room. And so we thought it was that, but
but I've since found that it's
played it again.
It's the lighting.
It's not the lighting. It's the cards themselves that produce the problem. They just have that sheer finish on them, and it makes it very difficult to read it at a lot of different angles. You have to almost be right on top of the card, or have it up in your hand, and you're reading it that way, which is, I think, something that would go away after multiple plays.
I do think the artwork is really good.
Yeah.
I really like the artwork.
Very much so.
And I mean, especially when you get to those final troopers, the different mech suits, you're like, yeah. And I also like those little coins. There's little coins, the red, blue coins. The red ones are used for hit points. And I like the blue coins using as to whether someone used their special ability or not. Many of the Marines and stuff have special abilities that they can use. And if I use it to help Sam in his turn, most games have you tap these cards, but putting these coins on makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, because there always is a spatial aspect whenever you tap a card, and the boards that you're placing the cards on don't give you a lot of room to tap the cards, which is probably why they came up with the idea of using those blue tokens. But really, that's the only thing about the game itself that I did not like. was the actual sheer finish on the card.
Oh, I have one more thing I don't like. I wish there were more cards.
Well, there might be.
Yeah, I'm sure they're coming. No, I really enjoyed this game. To me, this gave me the feeling of tower defense as the bugs just keep coming in and in and in. But the number one thing I love about this game is I felt it promoted teamwork almost more than any other game, because I really do care that you don't die.
Right.
So I will play cards to help you, and I'm hoping you play cards to help me. And they deliberately made characters, like they make the medic guy good at healing people. They make one guy good at throwing bombs. They make you play the guy with shields, and I play the guy who can get better guns. And
the armory,
and that's really neat. And it's like there's this back and forth. Now I played the game with different numbers of players, and 3 is such a sweet spot. If I ever do a game best with 3s again, this will be one of them.
Yeah, that is good.
Really loved it with 3.
One of the things that I really liked about the thing is that the hive has an intelligence to it. It's not just this meat shield that is just coming at you, or a wall of meat that you just have to keep the wall of meat back away from your... They actually will, juke and jive and work with the other things in their row to make it more difficult for you to defeat them. And that's how I liked... I saw teamwork on both sides of the fence, I guess you could say. The Marines definitely would work together, but the Hive also works together.
It's an AI, just so you're...
It's an AI, correct. But it's cool that it's like that. It's not just this, this wall of bugs that I'm just shooting at. They actually have an intelligence, and I thought that was really, really neat.
It's also a deck builder, but it doesn't feel like a deck builder because it bucks some of the things that deck builders do, in a sense that when you buy stuff, you get that stuff now.
Immediately.
I love that.
Right.
I'm buying weapons. It's not like I'll put it in my deck and hopefully I'll draw it in a few turns.
Right.
You get it now, and you also get like a money card every turn. And then many of the cards let you get rid of them for discounts to get other cards.
Yeah, when you go up to the next level.
Like the original Troopers, you can trash them essentially for a -1 discount on a higher cost trooper, and the money you can trade in for the better quality money. And so your deck does get better, and it's not like, oh, I got garbage in my hand.
Yeah.
It's just that, oh, I got maybe not as good of a hand, so I need you guys to help me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things. When I was playing it, it gave me the same feel as Thunderstone, but with a cooperative nature. The Hive track on your side of the board, it's like you all have your own little dungeon, and you're all fighting your little dungeon, but other people can help you fight your dungeon. And that's, I made that connection. I don't think there's a lot of similarities between Thunderstone and this, but it just gave me the same feel. Everybody has their own little dungeon, and everybody can help each other. So I think it does have a deck builder feel to it, but like Tom said, it's instant gratification, which is something that most deck builders don't do, and that was a really cool thing to do, and I think it's necessary because this game ain't easy.
No, but I'm glad for that.
Right.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's beatable, I think. I think. But I mean, I've come really close. I love the bosses because you're never sure when one of them shows up. When it shows up, everyone's like, "Whoa, stop everything! We got to defeat that guy."
It might not show up. That's another thing. We got lucky a couple times, and we still lost. Man.
Yeah, I think the whole thing fits together in a very strong thematic flavor. You feel unique where you're helping other people, and you're upgrading. And I think it's neat when you have the choice of troops to upgrade to. They all seem good.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, I want the paratroopers because I can put them in anywhere. But at the same time, this guy has like a great attack value.
Right.
And this guy's a shield. Really. So for me, this one gets 2 machine guns up, shooting ammunition, wasting it into the air. Definitely into my collection.
Cool. I'm going to give this 2. I'm going to give this 2. It's not decapitation when you. It's not decapitation when you talk about limbs.
Severed.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. 2 huge severed bug tentacles up. I don't know, man. I'm making this stuff up as I go along. I really liked it.
All right. That's Xenoshyft from Cool Mini or Not.
Xenoshyft Onslaught.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.